Well, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time to spend this with me. And I hope that I'm going to be able to show you some amazing stuff that's going to set your business alight. Okay, so the agenda for today is we're going to be talking about team marketing. We're going to be talking about list and forms, which is all part of the Netready technology. Landing pages, also part of the Netready technology, emails and SMSs, and then we'll have a brief chat about SEO and AdWords, and I'll show you a little bit about that. But we are going to be rescheduling a meeting that is going to be specific for SEO and AdWords. And the guys who are going to be involved in that are going to put a different presentation together. So that is just going to be a light look at that today. But we're going to start off with the team marketing. As you probably know, on day one, when your IBOs join, they are completely, totally, and utterly clueless. They don't know anything about the business. They don't know what you do. They don't know how you do it. They've got a dream. They would like to make a success. They're very keen on the business that you've got going, but they actually don't know what's going on. Now, it's been worked out in terms of our data that if you don't switch these people on within 6 weeks, you lose them. So you've got 6 weeks to take these people from being completely clueless to being marketing machine. It's 42 days. And that's on you. You have to get them there. You can't say, well, look, these guys are useless. They're not useless. They just don't know what to do. And the idea is that you need to provide them the tools, the training, and the support. Because these people are not lazy. They've got a backbone. They really want to do it. And they say that 90% of your IBOs would do the work if only they knew what work to do. And so this is all on you. You've got to be able to put them in a place where they know what to do, they've got the tools to do it, and where you support them in that activity. If you can do that, you will have a team that absolutely flies. So let's get started on the marketing material and tools. First of all, every single one of your agents is the view that people have on your company. You know, if you walk into a large retail store, a Walmart or Woolworths or whatever, when you walk into that store, the image of that business is there for you to see. The store's got its branding up, it's got its logos, it's beautiful. You can see exactly how good and powerful and amazing that store is just by walking through the doors. In the MLM space, you don't have that. Your only two views to the world are what people see on your website, and that had better show a really fantastic view to the world. This is an amazing company. And your printed brochures. So your print material is key because that is what gives your business its brand. Within the printing, you should have in your starter kits, when your guys sign up, they should have everything they need. So they should have brochures, they should have posters, they should be able to buy pull-up banners for doing meetings, and a lot of print advertising. So let's just start with the brochures and posters and leaflets. On that front, you must not allow your network to print their own stuff, because what happens is they print it on their color printer at home and it comes out looking absolutely shocking. And that is the image that you are portraying to the world. So you'll see that in the terms and conditions that I've sent out to you guys, that we specifically in those terms and conditions prevent the guys from printing their own stuff. They should be buying that stuff from you. Now, if you're printing it in large volumes, you'll get it at very good prices, and you'll be able to sell it to them in batches of 100. And same with the posters. You can get them printed in large volumes, sell them to them inexpensively. Just bear in mind that there's no cost to the company because the agents buy this stuff. Nobody gets it for free. You're not just doling it out. You're not dishing it out. They buy it in packs of 100, and it's up to you to train them how to use it. Now, I had a little company called Acorn Kids a couple of years ago, and in our starter packs, we would put brochures, posters, tear-offs. We would have a full advertising manual with everything from advertising to go into the smalls, right the way through to full color page advertising. And part of that was a training course to teach the guys how to use all of this stuff. So for instance, the posters, we were selling children's products. So we said to them, listen, there shouldn't be a school in the country where you don't have a poster up. The tear-offs and the brochures, we said, listen, you should be on every single community board, in every single shopping center, in your local libraries, wherever you can put up a brochure, a poster, or a leaflet, that should be put up. And then we taught them how to do the advertising. And there's a publication here in South Africa called Cape Town Child, And I honestly couldn't open a Cape Town child at any time without seeing advertising for Acorn Kids in it, because the guys would take the advertising. All they needed to do was put in their website address, their telephone number, their email address, and bang it into the Cape Town child. Now, what we found as well is a number of our agents would get together and they would combine their ad spend, and they would buy a full page in Cape Town child. So you would have a situation where I'd open Cape Town Child and there would be a full page advert that we had set up that looked amazing and that had these dealers and names at the bottom. So if you were in Johannesburg, it would have the Joburg dealer's name. And if you were in Cape Town, it'd have the Cape Town dealer's name, etc. So this printing here is an amazing way for you to leverage the advertising spend of your agents. My recommendation is that you get a proper professional advertising agency to put this together so that it looks professional. If you can't afford an ad agency, then there's companies like Fiverr and Upwork where you can actually post a job on there, and for relatively little money, you can get a guy to put a beautiful brochure together for you. So that is the first thing, that when you put your starter kit together, you should have a very aggressive print media campaign and the collateral for that print media campaign in your starter kit. Your online advertising is huge. Most of your people have no idea how to advertise on Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They don't have their Google and Facebook accounts. So it's absolutely up to you to provide them with the collateral for the Google advertising, for the Facebook advertising, but also to provide them with the training on how to do it. How do you register for Google? How do you register for Facebook? How do you get your advertising up there? What does it cost? How do you pay for it? All of that stuff should be in place. Now, again, you might not be an expert on Google or Facebook. We have a partner who can help you with that. But if you don't want to use our partners, then you can also get onto Fiverr or Upwork or one of those companies. Dozens of people out there who will be able to help you produce a video or some training that you can give to your members, and the collateral that they can go out there and leverage the online space like the Googles, the Facebooks, etc. So you really need to be focusing on building a community online, especially in times like this where we've got a total lockdown around the world. It's ideal for you to be marketing through the online social media mechanisms. Your communications, these are critical. Email is still the most powerful method of communicating with people and of selling online. When the adverts go out, what they do is they get the email address. But at the end of the day, it's the email and SMS campaigns and the scripts, the phone scripts, that actually allow people or encourage people to join and get that join rate up. Now, if you depend on your members to create their own emails, then you're going to have a lot of crazy emails going out there. So what I recommend highly is that you develop a series of emails that your guys can download and send out. So you develop the text, they just put the client's name in the top, their name at the bottom, their contact information, their website, etc., and they just send it out. So you take the guesswork out of this process. So if they send out an SMS, it must be something that you've wordsmithed and crafted, that's effective, that you've tested, that you know it works, and that's what they send out. If it comes to an email, you should have a series of emails, whether it's inviting somebody to a meeting, or whether it's telling them about the product, or whether it's telling them about the opportunity. All of those things should be crafted by the company and should be properly wordsmithed so that when the agent gets it and they send it out, it's a really good impression of what you're doing and your offer. You should also put together phone scripts, because most people have no idea whatsoever of what to say when they pick up the phone to phone someone. So you should provide them with tried and tested phone scripts so that they can learn the script, get an idea of what they need to say. And so when they pick up the phone, they know what actually to say to the person, and it's more effective. And then we're going to talk about this forms and buttons. This is a big part of the online strategy, which I'm going to be talking about today. So I'll show you how that all works, and we'll discuss it in detail. Last of all, and this was one of the most effective things I ever did, was these car decals. So we created bumper stickers and car door advertising and rear window advertising for cars, and these magnetic stick-on adverts that could pop onto the car. And that was hugely effective. And I just want to touch on that with a little bit more detail here. Bottom line is, for all of this stuff, there needs to be substantial training. Now, obviously, the upline should be doing the training. So they should be getting together with their members and training them. But we know that that doesn't always happen. So it's important that you put together an e-learning course on our system. The platform's got a full e-learning system built in. It's imperative that you put in a full e-learning course for them so they can go through the course, learn what to do, download the collateral, access the collateral, purchase the brochures, etc., and go out and do the work that you want them to do. Now, I just want to reiterate, if the guys know what to do, they'll do it. If you tell them what to do, they'll do it. They're not lazy. They just don't know what to do. And so many MLMers fail, not because they don't want to do the work, but because they just have absolutely no idea what to do. And if you're not telling them what to do, they're going to fail. So a card decal, I mean, this is a simple thing. You know, you can show the person how to put it on, you can produce them, and you can put them out there. So here's an example of what we were doing at Acorn Kids. So this went on the back window of the car: full-time mom, part-time business, call, and the number. Some people put their website address on here as well, and some people put their email address as well. Now, I had this on the back of my car when we were running the company. I cannot tell you how many times I got a phone call while I was sitting in the traffic of somebody wanting to join the business. And I'd say to them, look, I'm driving at the moment, but give me a call in a half an hour. I'll call you back and we can talk about it. And we signed people up from this dozens of times. But what was much more important is, imagine the amount of branding or brand awareness that is out there. I mean, you get an incredible amount of brand awareness out there from this. Now, at one time, we had 2,000 agents with this on their car. So we had 2,000 cars out there. That was 1,000 square meters of moving media. If I can just put that into perspective, that is like having 40 billboards. Now, if I said to you, you could buy 40 billboards and put your message on it and run it around the country, I mean, what impact would that have on your brand? And what impact would that have on people signing up? Well, obviously, it would have a massive impact. And the beauty is, if you were to buy these billboards, I mean, what would that cost you? You're looking per month at a billboard like this of about probably $10,000 a month. If you put this branding on the cars, I mean, that branding for Acorn Kids cost me nothing, because the agent bought the branding in their starter kit. They paid for it. So there was no cost to me. All of the advertising, all of the marketing material, the agent bought from us. Then when they placed it in the media or they put it out there, the cost was on their side. They had to pay for that. And so the cost to the company is zero, but the impact on the company is massive, because what you're doing is you're leveraging 2,000 people's cars. Now, again, put it into perspective. If you went to 2,000 individual people and said, listen, we'd like to put our branding on your car, how much do you think it would cost you to do it? I mean, this is a massively expensive exercise, which you get absolutely free of charge. Now, what I did on this front is I actually bought a large format printer, which printed this stuff out in our offices, and every single starter kit that went out, we put this advertising in with a small instruction video. At the time, it was a little DVD that the guy popped in. He watched the DVD. It showed him how to apply this onto his car window. A very simple process, and the guys would apply it. I really think that there's a lot of opportunity simply to get your guys to do traditional advertising, put advertising in their car, drop off brochures, drop off leaflets, put the advertising in their local newspapers, put it on their community boards, in every doctor's rooms, in every dentist room, everywhere where there's a consulting room, put your brochures there so people can see it. And depending on your product, obviously, you know, there's different environments that they'll work in. To put this again into perspective, if you had 1,000 agents and you could just leverage $10 ad spend a month. Now, let's just leave the car branding out of the mix for a moment, because that, I don't even want to know what the price you would put on branding somebody's car like that. But if you just got them to spend $10 on Facebook or Google or any of the major advertising environments, you're talking about here $10,000 a month. In South African terms, it would be 180,000 Rand a month. In terms of your annual spend, just 1,000 people spending $10, you've got $120,000 a year in advertising spend. And that costs you nothing. If you look down in South African rands for the South African companies that are with us today, you're talking about 2 million rands worth of advertising for free. You know, I've written a book. If you don't have it, please email me and I'll send it to you. But I wrote a book on how to raise $100,000 in free advertising or free marketing, where I explain all of this. So it would be really worthwhile getting hold of that ebook. If you haven't got it, please email me and I'll send it to you. If you took this 1,000 people, if you had a slightly bigger team and you went up to say 5,000 people, just spending $10, just 183 Rand, that's peanuts. Suddenly you got $600,000 spent. You got 548,000 euros at the current exchange rate. You got 10 million Rand in terms of Rands spending. Now, some of our clients have got 60,000 members. Can you imagine the impact there? You just take this up to 10,000 members, suddenly you got 21 million Rands worth of advertising, or $1.2 million. So the bottom line is that you've got this powerhouse of people who are hungry to do your business. They want to do it with all their heart. And if you give them the advertising and the marketing material, and you show them how to go and place that marketing material online, in newspapers, etc., on their cars, they will do it. And your spend per month will far exceed $10, if you do the right kind of training and the right kind of marketing. Not only that, the growth of your network will show in all of that marketing. You'll see your network just spike because of it. And each person who joins, obviously, is also spending $10 a month. And suddenly you could have massive, I mean, this is 21 million. If you had 60,000 people, it would be 6 times that. So you'd be 121 million Rand in advertising spend. Okay, so that is a basic talk about the team and marketing. As I said, I've got an ebook on that, which I'm more than happy to send out to you if you don't already have it. But it really is worthwhile having a look at that as a fundamental method of getting your guys out the blocks. The next thing I want to talk about is lists and forms, landing pages, email, and SMS. Okay, folks, so when we built Netready, one of the things that we really wanted to do is make sure that we were not just tracking your commissions. What we wanted to do is we wanted to build a system that would allow you to drive your business, both from a company perspective and from a network perspective. So I'm going to take you through briefly the methods we use to set up an entire online funneling campaign, both for yourself and for your network, and to show you how that works in the system. So first of all, when you log in as an administrator, and you guys are all admins, you come to the back end, you land up in your admin area, and you'll see here you've got a section called autoresponder. So within the autoresponder, you'll see a couple of things, but the two things you're going to be focused on today is these lists and these forms. Now, a list is a list of people who you can actually communicate with, and the forms are the mechanisms that you get people into the lists with. Okay, so the first thing we do is we go and we create ourselves a list. And it's super simple to create a list. I've got an I'm not sure list. I'm just going to update it over here. So there I've got my test list, okay? And I can create as many lists as I want. I just go and add the names of the lists. I can create 100 lists if I want. Very simple. The next thing I do is I come over here and I create a form. Okay, here we go. So over here, we can set up our forms. Okay, so inside the form, you can give it a name. So you can call it, let's call it in this case, contact. And you can say what the title is of the form is, send me more information, example. And then what form template, there's a number of form templates. In this particular system, I've only got 2. We're going to use the opt-in form. You decide what list this is going to go to. So here you're saying, okay, which list do I want this form to go to? So you could have a list that's online Google campaign list, and you could send any leads coming from that online Google campaign list, campaign form, to this contact list, in this case, my test list. Do you want to include the telephone number? In this case, I say yes. What is your button going to say? It can say anything you like. I've made it submit. What countries do you want to include in the list? So you can decide which countries you're marketing to. And what is the default country? In this case, you can see I've made the default the United States. Then once the person has actually finished filling in the form, where do you want them to go? So you could take them to a product that gets added into the shopping cart, or you could take them to a piece of information about the, the business, or to a video, to whatever you like, you can take the person anywhere in your website or to any other website for that matter. If you want to guarantee that you have got the correct information, you could have a double opt-in for, say, SMS. So you could make sure that you do have their cell phone or their email, and it is a legitimate cell phone or email, so you can do a double opt-in. And then lastly, you can say, can an affiliate download this form? In this case, affiliates can download the form. Now, all of this here goes into making the form. And I'll show you, once that has been created, you'll see on the right-hand side here that you can click on this area and get the code for that form. Okay, so now we've got our list and we've got our form. What we want to do next is we want to go and create a landing page. So in our system, you'll see that we have an area for landing pages. And so you can create various different kind of landing pages. So you've got your content, opt-in, sales, or success. And remember, I was telling you about you can redirect a person to a new page. Normally what you would do is create a success page, and when the person's finished filling in the form, they would be driven to the success page. Right now, we're going to just create a content page. So I'm going to go in here. To add a page, you click on the add page and you fill in some information. I'm going to just quickly go in here and show you how that was filled in. So the name of the page I called product launch. The title I called product launch as well. Is it published? Yes. Can it be indexed by Google? You can decide yes or no. This is the description that will show up in Google, and you'll see at the bottom of the page here, when you fill in information here, it shows you what the advert in Google is going to look like. Here you put your keywords. If you are tracking conversions, and if you don't know about that, don't worry about it. The SEO guys will be able to tell you. You can put a tag in here which will allow you to track conversions on a page. When you're finished, you save the page, and there you've got your landing page created. Now, to go to that landing page and set it up, you click on this button over here. You click over here, you say view, and this opens the page up for you to do some development work in it. Now you can see here this page is completely blank, and the reason it's blank is with landing pages, you don't want to have any distractions. You don't want to have menus. You don't want to have anything other than the messaging you're trying to send out. So here we're going to build our landing page quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a video on this page. So to get a video on the page, there's a plus sign at the bottom of the page. You simply click on the plus sign. It brings up all of the content. You go down until you see the video. You click on the video. It will then ask you, where do you want to place this? And I'm going to place this video on the left-hand side there. Now to change this video, I click on the plus sign and I put in the code from YouTube. Now you'll have to have uploaded your video on YouTube, and then you just put the code in here. If you don't want to use a video, you can just use text or images or whatever you want to use over here. You can get all of that stuff out of the content area. So there's my video ready to go. It will play if I push the play button. Now what I want to do is I want to add that form in here. So I go in here and I type in the word form, and it brings up the form. I then drop the form onto the page. There's my form. Now I've got to set the form up, and this is the only really tricky part of this whole process. There's a little pencil or edit icon on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. If you click on that edit icon, it puts the system into edit mode, and here you can now see our form. We go back to our content here. We're going to go back to our forms and lists because I need to get that piece of text. So I'm going to go into forms. I go and click on this little button. I say, get my code. Control A to select all, and I copy it. Oopsie. I now go in here, click on the edit content, and I drop my script in here. That's it. I click save. I take this out of edit mode, and there's my form. So anybody coming to this page now and entering information into this form is going to land up in that list. And we are now going to be able to communicate with that person. So there's my landing page. Obviously, you can make it more beautiful. You can get Martin involved in designing the landing page for you. You can add content in it. Our SEO guys will show you how to search engine optimize this page so that it ranks on Google. We'll show you how to do AdWords so that you can advertise the page and get people to do it. But you can also get your agents to send people to this page, because if an agent sends somebody here, it will automatically track who that agent is, and it will store that as an agent's lead. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. Okay, so going back to the forms, we have now completed lists. We've created a form and we've created a landing page, and people are going to come to that form, fill in their information, and now what we're going to do is we're going to advertise to those people. So here I've got a campaign, and I've started the campaign, so I'm just going to go into this campaign quickly to show you how it works. So first of all, you give your campaign a name. Not a very creative name for my side, test, but this is the test campaign that I'm using to do this training with. Who's this from? The default from email. So this is from richard@netready.co.za. The default reply to is again my email address. Now we go into contacts and we say, who are we going to send this email to? And this is where the beauty comes in. We say, I want to send this email not to all users, but to my test list. So I'm going to send these emails only to people who filled in the form on that test list. And then I can actually segment this. So I can say, I'm just going to delete this segment so that I can show you how it works. I can add a segment here, and I can say, I want to only send this to people who have the role, who do not have the role. These are contacts who don't have the role of affiliate. So in other words, I'm going to send this email out only to people who have not registered yet. So if somebody's already registered, they came there, they filled in the information, they liked what they saw, they decided to register straight away, and they register. Or after I sent them the first email, they decided, okay, we love this idea, we're going to register. They registered, then we don't want to keep on sending them emails saying, hey, don't you want to join the business? So this is going to go out to only contacts who are not affiliates. So contacts who don't have the affiliate role. Save. Okay, now we create a workflow. And this is where the magic happens. First email that'll go out here, I'm just going to click into it because you can add messages to your heart's content. So this first email, I'll call it first email. You can call it anything you like. You can run experiments with it, but I'm not going to talk about experiments today. That's a whole nother topic. This could be an email or an SMS. In this case, it's going to be an email. I give this email a name, so I'm going to call it test email 1. It's from Richard. There's all of my stuff again. I save that. I decide on what template I want to use. There's a whole lot of templates. I'm just going to use the first template. And here's my message. And so my message can be highly personalized. So I'm going to go in here and just delete this. And I'm going to say hi. And then I hit the @ and it brings up a list of all the things. And I'm going to type in first name. And there's hi first name. And I can now go and put in a whole lot of information that I want. I can add rows to this. So I can go and add a row at the bottom here. In that row, I can put some content. So I can, for instance, put a button in here. And I can put, I don't know, my social media tags in here. And then this is an email. So regards, and I can put in again an @ and I can put in company, and it's going to have Netready or whatever the company name is. So I can create my emails here. I can make them look really nice, etc. When I've finished, I save them. If I've got a very beautiful template that I've built, I can save it as a template and use it again in future. Now what I do is I schedule this. Now this is the first email. So this goes out when the contact joins this campaign. So when they get added to that list by filling in the form, they're immediately on this campaign. I can then, if I want to, I can delay this thing. I can send this message out, schedule it to go out, or send it out immediately. Let's say we schedule it to go out. I can decide when I schedule it to go out. So here you can see I can do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I can decide, does it go out in a specific time? Here, I'm going to send it out specifically in the contact time zone so that we don't land up sending SMSs to people at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I can send it out at a specific time. Here, I'm sending it out at 10 a.m. And we've done some research, and it turns out that 10 a.m. in the morning is when you get your highest rate of return. And you'll probably see that I sent out a lot of our emails at 10 o'clock in the morning to get you guys to join this webinar. Okay, once I've done that, I save it. So this is now scheduled to go out. When anybody gets added to the list, this is going to go out to them. And now at the bottom top right-hand side here, I click the back to workflow. And now I'm going to stick in my second message. So again, it could be an email or an SMS. It can be an experiment. I can choose a specific template. And here's the message. So this is my second message that's going to go out. Now, just bear in mind, the first message can say, hey, thank you for filling in the form. This is the exciting information that we want to give you. I know you watched our video. Why don't you click on this link to join us, or to join our webinar, or to whatever it is going to do. The second email that can go out 7 days later could say, listen, I see that you haven't registered yet, but here's a coupon. If you use this coupon, you can get a 20% discount on registration. Click here to get registered. So you can create an entire story. And when you schedule this thing, in the scheduling, you can say that when the contact has received the message, or clicked on a link in the message, or joined the campaign, or opened the message, then send them this message. So you could say when the person received the first message, then send them the next message. So you can create very sophisticated loops in terms of seeing what the guy's done. Have they joined your business? If they haven't joined it, did they click on a link? If they clicked on a link but didn't join, then there's this message. If they clicked on the link and did join, then there's that message. So you can do a lot of different things in terms of driving your network using this emailer. So here you can see I can wait a certain amount of days, let's say 3 days in this case. Then I can schedule this meeting. I only wanted to go out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. And I wanted to go out at 10 a.m. in the morning in the context time zone. Now I can create n number of messages. I can keep on going back here, and I can create an entire emailing campaign that will drive people to sign up in the business. Now just bear in mind, let's say you've got 1,000 agents, and each agent can just get 10 people to fill in the form. Suddenly you've got 10,000 people who you can email to get into the business. Now, even if you've got a 1%, just a 1% success ratio on that, you've got 100 people in your business. And if you've got more than a 1%, if you read, I mean, remember these guys have opted in. So this is not something where this is not a cold lead that you're emailing. They've opted into the process. So your closing ratio will be much higher than 1%. So if you can get just 1,000 people to each put in 10 leads, then suddenly you got 10,000 people. If you've got 10,000 people each putting in 10 leads, you've got a bucket of people you're emailing, and your closing ratio is going to be reasonable, and you're going to land up building your business at lightning speed. Now, this could be emailing people who you want to sell the product to. Let's say you've got a great CBD oil you want to sell. You could email people to buy your product. So you could do a product-centric campaign, or you could have campaigns that are recruiting-centric. So join the business and earn a fortune. Now, at this particular moment in the world where we are with this coronavirus problem that we're having, it would be ideal, it would be perfect to be able to go out there, do campaigns, get your members to do campaigns on join the business. This is a way to work from home where you can use all of these incredible mechanisms we have, the advertising mechanisms, the online advertising mechanisms, the forms, the lists, the emails, etc., to get people to purchase product from you. We ship the product to their door, you make money. So there's an ideal opportunity here to utilize these techniques to really drive your business. Now, this needs to be thought through properly. You can't just shoot from the hip on this. You need to put together a fantastic campaign that will drive the entire process And that will get guys involved over a period of time. You don't want to irritate them, so don't send them an email every day. But my recommendation is buy some books. There's a very good book that's called Sell Like Crazy. Get a good book on how to do this online marketing and how to set up your emails and what messaging needs to go out there, and use that to drive your messaging here around the campaigns. Okay, so we've got our forms, we've got our lists, we've got our landing pages, and we've got our campaigns. Now, what we want to go to is we want to go and see what the end user is seeing. So this here is where the agent is. And so the agent can come into their back office. Now, remember just now we said that we were going to allow these forms to be downloaded by the agent. So these forms can be downloaded by the agent by simply coming into their back office. Any forms that you are allowing them to download, they can go over here and they can get the code. Now, I'm just going to point out, I know this looks like gobbledygook to most of you, but if you have a look in here, let me just see if I can find it. There, affiliate ID equals 3. So embedded in this form, we embed who the affiliate is, so that anybody filling this form in will automatically land up in that person's team. So you've got 1,000 agents, all 1,000 agents can download this form, and all 1,000 agents can put this form anywhere on the internet where you can add a script. Okay, so I'll show you how that works over here. I'm just opening up a second page. Okay, so here the agent dropped this onto you can see this is a completely different website, completely different HTML code. They've gone and dropped their form onto the internet out there somewhere. It could be in a blog post, it could be on another website. They could spin up 100 blogs to drive people to it. And each blog could have this form in it. And so somebody comes along here, let's say the guy's name is Peter. And let's say, I don't know, so he's in South Africa. And just by the way, for interest's sake, the system picks up the incoming IP address and it works out what country the person is in. And then based on the country they're in, it sets all of this stuff behind the scenes. So we know that this person is, in this case, from South Africa, and we know what city they're in. You know, it will track that they're in Cape Town. So we know exactly what city they're in. And that's all done automatically behind the scenes. Now, on this website, the person submits this, and it's now been submitted successfully. If this person now goes into their back office and they go to their reports and they go to their leads, there you can see my lead, Peter Toto, from a completely different website out there, has landed up. I've got his telephone number, and again, we can validate that telephone number if we want to. I've got his email address, and he has specifically shown interest. Now, two things are going to happen at this point. One, the company's advertising campaign is going to kick in, and the emails are going to start flying. Okay, so that's the first thing that's going to happen. And one of the things we want to do is we want to drive this guy, Peter Toto, to click on a link to come to our website. Because the second he logs onto our website, our remarketing campaign is going to kick in, and they're going to start seeing our adverts in Facebook and in Twitter and in Google, and wherever they go, they're going to start seeing the adverts of our product and joining our business. So one of the things we want to do is we want to drive this guy, Peter, to come to the website. But the second thing is we give the agent, in this case, this agent is Richard, we give him the option to phone this guy and get him on board. So pick up the phone, phone him. Hey, I see you filled in our form. This is really exciting. I'm looking forward to to chatting with you about, do you have some time to talk to me? And off they go. Sorry, James Gibson just joined. I'm adding him in. So the issue is here, you've got a complete closed circuit that you can actually get every one of your agents putting these leads out there. So last but not least, every agent has got their own URL. So when you come to the website, it actually tells you who this person, who owns this website. So if you go in here, and let's say your name is Blake, I think it's Blake that I put in. You'll see Blake's details come up here, and we can make these details as comprehensive as you like. I've just put this on here to show you. There's his telephone number, his name, his picture, his Facebook and Instagram connections, all of that stuff sitting on his page. But if you come to Richard's site, you'll see that Richard's information is coming up here. Now, the beauty of this is when you go to register, when anybody registers here, the system picks up who that person belongs to, and there it is. It automatically defaults that, in this case, to Richard at 3. If I put in Blake, it will default it to Blake. Now, the key issue is that when we give the agents the form to put out there in the world, and somebody fills that form in, we hook that lead to that agent. So the second that lead signs up or purchases something or does anything on the system, that person automatically becomes part of that lead's network. And that connection, that mechanism that joins them, keeps them joined forever. So every time that person purchases something or signs up somebody or does anything on the system, the guy who brought him in as a lead automatically becomes, benefits financially from it. So going back to what I was saying earlier on, if you can give your team this kind of mechanism and teach them how to put this mechanism out on the website somewhere, how to put it out in the world and generate traffic to that, can you imagine the impact that's going to have on your business? Again, if you've just got 1,000 agents and each of them just gets 10 leads, you've got 10,000. If each of them gets 100 leads, you've got 100,000 leads. And who knows how many leads they can get if you are giving them all of the processes, if you're giving them the car advertising and brochures and leaflets and tear-offs and posters and banners and all of the online mechanisms like the Google, the Facebook, and the YouTube and all of that stuff. If you're giving them all of the materials, all of the tools and teaching them how to market your business, the cost to you is the effort to teach them. That's the cost, because remember, they pay for everything. You don't have to give them brochures. They pay for it. They buy them in batches of 100. You know, in Acorn Kids, what we did is we got ourselves a little scale. You'd weigh one leaflet, it would tell you what that weighs. And then when you put 10 in, it would tell you how many leaflets you got. So you just put a bunch of leaflets on it. It'll tell you it's 100. You wrap them up, you send it out. So shipping 100 leaflets, not a big deal, but you sell them to the guys, you sell everything to them. They pay for everything. Your cost is to train them. But again, if you could get 1,000 people to just do $10 of advertising, you got $10,000 of advertising coming in. Now, the second thing that is very exciting about this, that needs to be sort of mentioned here, and I'm just going to go back into this area and go into my users. Every time a lead signs up on the system, you own the lead, okay? So when Peter Toto signs up, you as a company own that lead. That lead is in the system. That means that even if the agent who signed that lead up decides to resign and no longer do the business, you still have access to all of the leads that they ever brought in, and you can actually manage them. The same thing with the customers. If each of these people signs up their customers on the system, if they decide to leave, those customers belong to you. Now, on the meeting today, there's 4 or 5 people on this particular meeting who I haven't spoken to in a year, maybe 2 years, who are actually attending this meeting today just purely because they're still on our system. And I was able to send them an email to say, hey, listen, guys, we're going to be doing this amazing webinar. Don't you want to join us? So I think you can see the massive benefit you have to have a system where you've got all of your customers and all of your leads in the system, and where you've got an emailing engine that can actually go out there and market to those people on a regular basis. Okay, so that's it from my side. Kirsten, do you have anything that you'd like to add to that?
Just one thing, Richard. For the affiliates that don't have their own blog websites or any other website, if they send a lead to their replicated site on the company site, so the example that you went to before, /Richard,
yes.
And then if the lead completes the opt-in form on the company site, yes, that will also be tied to the affiliate. It doesn't have to be on the affiliate website anywhere else in the world.
So in other words, what you're saying here, and I just quickly go there. Good point. So I'm going to view this. This is the landing page. So you're saying that if I send as an agent, am I logged in? Where am I? This is me. As an agent, if I send somebody, I think it's this one. If I send somebody here, I don't know what I've done
here. Send them
here.
to the website first. So turnkey.netready.co/Richard.
Okay, so let's just have a look at that. /Richard. Enter. Okay, and there's Richard.
Okay,
fantastic. And then I send them to the landing page. Let's say there's a button
so
there.
obviously your website would need to be set up so that the leads actually follow the funnel to get to this page.
Okay, Jim Bean. Submit. What you're saying is over here, then I should get my, of course, now's not the time to be testing this, but let's go and test it anyway. Okay, leads, and there we are. So you can, if your agents don't have a website where they can put their own forms, they can simply send people to the landing page on the company's website, on their replicated website, and anybody filling in that information will actually land up as a lead in their system.
And then if Jim Bean comes to register, even if he doesn't say that Richard introduced him, because he is Richard's lead, he'll go into Richard's network.
Exactly. Okay, guys, so that's it from me. My email address is support@netreadymlm.com. support@netreadymlm.com. If you would like to get that ebook that I've created, please just send us your email address when you go there, and I'll bang off that email to you immediately with that book. And if you want to have any other information, or you've got any ideas of what else we can do in terms of webinars like this, please let me know. I would like to do a webinar like this at least once a week to help you guys to achieve amazing results during this, what is really a very difficult time. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. It was really an amazing pleasure to do this with you. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you with your business, and I hope and pray that your business is just going to absolutely explode, even though we are in some pretty difficult times here. Look out for emails from me. I will be doing another one of these things shortly. Again, drop me a line if there's anything that you think that I should be doing the work with. Thanks a lot, and cheers, guys.